Hello there.
In this video, we're breaking down every confirmed and rumored plot detail that we know so far for Godzilla x Kong 3. Now, at the time of recording this video, it is March of 2025. We are still 2 years away from the release of this film. However, shooting does begin this summer, and while a lot of things can change on a dime, we can kind of already assume at this point that there's a pretty well-structured story. There's probably a lot of concept art for this film, and a lot of things are in motion for the plot of this movie. So we're going to break it down and discuss in this video all of the confirmed and rumored plot details for Godzilla Kong 3. If you guys enjoy my MonsterVerse content, then check out my channel. I've been on a roll lately, uploading tons of content for you guys to enjoy, so go ahead and check that out, and let's get into the video.
The Atomic Fair.
Okay, so we know that people love to clickbait a lot with various movies. We can already assume that that has happened with leaks that have happened and come out for Godzilla Kong 3. But very soon after the release of Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire, we had Adam Wingard coming out and teasing details for his potential Godzilla Kong third movie. Now, this wasn't confirmed at the time that Adam Wingard was going to be returning to direct Godzilla Kong 3. However, he was making interviews and statements regarding where he would want to take the story. An roundabout summary of what he said is that he wants to take Godzilla on a similar emotional story arc to what they did with Kong, and they want to have a Godzilla-focused story, that he always loved the Godzilla vs. Destroyer film, and that he's very inspired by the Heisei era of Godzilla movies. Now, I gotta be honest, watching Godzilla Kong: The New Empire, I'm like, okay, he is much more inspired by the Showa era than the Heisei era at the time. But the point that I think he was making is that he wants to take Godzilla on an emotional story arc similar to the one that they took Kong on, as well as similar to the one that they took Godzilla on in the Heisei era of Godzilla movies, which is the best era of Godzilla movies, hands down. It deserves its own video with a big discussion on why the Heisei era is so iconic and has cemented so many great villains for Godzilla as a character. But that's a whole nother rant for another video. So in Godzilla Kong 3, some of the first details that we got about the movie coming from Adam Wingard before he stepped down is the direction that he wanted to take the film, and it's everything that I've already said. But then when Grant Sputor stepped in, he also said something similar. He said that he wants to take Godzilla on an emotional story arc, and he wants to have a Godzilla-focused movie. When he came out and announced himself as the director for Godzilla Kong 3, somebody had commented saying something about Godzilla, and he responded pretty much saying that Godzilla is going to get a lot of screen time in this film, and that is when rumors began to circulate about the potential plot for Godzilla Kong 3. Now, at the time of recording, the only thing we know for sure is that this movie is going to feature both Godzilla and Kong facing off against another cataclysmic threat, as well as various cast members coming to the film that seem to center around a new central cast of characters for the movie, as well as a more militaristic tone, just judging from the casting choices, with some of the characters coming out being revealed to be generals and things like that. But now we move into heavy leak territory. Now, with the leaks for Godzilla Kong 3, we know a few things. For one, a lot of the leaks and rumors have centered around the idea of Godzilla Jr. being introduced to this movie. Now, a lot of that kind of centers back to Adam Wingard and where he wanted to take Godzilla Kong 3 and how he said he loved Godzilla vs. Destroyer. A lot of tabloids took that and ran with it and said that he was teasing the arrival of Godzilla Jr., which in my opinion sparked a whole bunch of rumors. And even I am kind of set on the fact that Godzilla Jr.'s got to appear in this next MonsterVerse movie at this point. We are so caught up with leaks and rumors about the character that it would kind of be a travesty for them not to introduce Godzilla Jr. On top of that, it's a great marketing opportunity for Godzilla's character and a new way for them to introduce another cute little monster that will end up being marketed and sell lots of toys and plushies. Godzilla Jr. is the perfect character to introduce to a Western Godzilla franchise, and I can already see it coming. But another thing that early rumors kind of started saying about the movie, and we're kind of still in early rumor territory, is the idea of hybrid Titans. The idea that Monarch would be sick and tired of the Titans and either want to make their own to take out the Titans or recreate mechanized Titans to use against the various titans in the Hollow Earth, whether it be Godzilla or Kong or Methuselah or Behemoth or even more titans. The world governments are sick of the titans, and we also know that from the Godzilla Kong the New Empire book, which came out and stated essentially that the world governments are potentially thinking of invading the Hollow Earth due to them getting sick and tired of titans essentially destroying the Earth. And it kind of makes sense from a human point of view. Godzilla Kong the New Empire was like Man of Steel levels of destruction. So a lot of that was the early rumors and plot details for Godzilla Kong 3, as well as, of course, the traditional space rumors, which were recently also refueled by Dan Stevens when he went onto Instagram to say, watch this space for all of your latest Godzilla updates, showing a picture of Godzilla, showing a picture of Kong, and a picture of the Earth, kind of teasing the idea of space for a lot of fans, and I covered that in my last video. I don't know if that's actually the case or if that is just what he said on Instagram, and it just kind of seems to be ironic. Nonetheless, the traditional space rumors also ensued with Godzilla x Kong 3, and while they still could potentially be true, I think if anything, the most likely scenario in this movie is that they're setting up a big cosmic event for future films, an Endgame style Godzilla movie or Monsterverse movie. But beyond that, the latest rumors that we have for Godzilla Kong the New Empire is something I've already covered heavily in my other videos, but it's an entire plot leak that came out about the film, centering around the idea essentially that Godzilla is potentially the antagonist of this movie. Now, this came from a leaker over on Discord who actually leaked out some reliable information about Godzilla Kong the New Empire, but with this leak, he also potentially apparently leaked to somebody over on X concept art, which appeared to be AI generated, which fueled a lot of people saying that this leak is completely fake. But if you actually follow the timeline and keep up with it, he also went over to Toho Kingdom to say that he used that AI concept art as a bait for people reaching out and wanting more information. And then, of course, when he gave them that information, they went and spilled it all over X, mocking him and saying it was fake. He said that was all kind of part of his plan, and it backfired. Now, nobody thinks the leak is real, but nonetheless, he is still kind of saying that this leak is real. But this is what he says about Godzilla Kong 3. Movie seems action heavy, but a somber tone throughout, with serious implications involving the world's leaders appointing a new government agency to dismantle Monarch and take over Hollow Earth operations, with the ultimate goal of collapsing it and effectively sealing the monsters away once and for all after the destructive events of Godzilla x Kong and the revelation of undocumented portals in the Hollow Earth. The antagonist this go around is actually an enraged Godzilla and the government agency responsible for upsetting the balance of nature. Shimo returns for a cameo, but is subdued by the military in the Hollow Earth through this new anti-Titan weaponry and the use of mechanized zombie titans, including skull crawlers. This angers the great apes in the Hollow Earth, who see the humans as tyrants no different than Scar King. Kong is especially angered by the use of reanimated skull crawlers. There's also a description on here of a potential egg that Monarch appears to capture in this movie that appears to be glowing and emitting energy that actually enrages Godzilla even more. A lot of people are thinking that is Godzilla Jr. in that egg. But it also says there's cameos of multiple titans battling the military before ultimately being destroyed and or subdued. Suko returns and serves to break up the darker tone with comedic relief moments lightly sprinkled throughout. Kong's arc shares similarities with Godzilla, but where they diverge is Kong struggles with his choice to continue coexisting with humanity, where Godzilla is seemingly at his wits' end and ready for war. Kong has an epic scene battling the military in a major city. Godzilla is surprise attacked by the military while sleeping on the Roman Colosseum and battles through the military and their zombie titans. Godzilla has settled into his new form. It's stated that his dorsal plates have straightened out and hardened and his bulk has returned. Mothra returns and even has a brief battle with Godzilla and Kong as she chooses not to forsake humanity. It is through hers and Monarch/Jaya's intervention that they convince Kong and later Godzilla that humanity is still worth fighting for. Ending seems hopeful that humanity will work towards cleaning up the Earth so they can coexist with it and the Titans like in ancient times once more. Said I received little other tidbits of info here and there, but these were presented the most clearly. Man, that is a ton of information, man. And I know so many people think that it's fake and that it's bullshit. I gotta be honest, I think that this is the real deal. Not, maybe not completely, but I think a lot of the story details, whether or not this leak is real, are going to end up in the film. It just seems like such a natural progression for the MonsterVerse. And I've been covering leaks for a long time now. There are certain leaks when they come out, you just know they're real. You just know that it sounds like a Hollywood script. This very much sounds like a Hollywood script and a very, very, very logical next step for the MonsterVerse. So comment down below and let me know what you think. This is kind of most of the leaks and rumors and all the reports that we have for Godzilla x Kong 3. There have been some other tidbits here and there, but this is kind of most of the information. The only other thing I can possibly think of is something I discussed earlier, the idea that they're going to tease some kind of big cosmic threat in this upcoming MonsterVerse movie. I also kind of set on the fact that that is going to happen, but the idea that both Godzilla and Kong are returning, that Godzilla is going to get enraged and fed up with humanity, makes a lot of sense, and I really think it kind of teases some elements and aspects, or at least is inspired by Godzilla -1. So comment down below, let me know what you guys think, especially with the anti-hero Godzilla, the balance of nature Godzilla, and the angry Godzilla who is looking to once again potentially wipe out humanity. All of it makes too much sense for the MonsterVerse. I can really see it happening in this next film, as well as them not introducing any more Toho monsters. I think it's just too expensive. I don't think it's too expensive, but I think they make too much money not doing it for them to even try to cut any corners on their potential profits and dig into the idea of them buying out the rights for various Toho monsters to appear in this movie. So comment down below, let me know what you think about all of the current leaks and rumors for Godzilla Kong 3. And for this video, that is all I got, guys. So until the next one, be safe and stay well. Bye-bye.